Ed Rogers, who's CEO of Rogers Investment Advisors. He joins us from Tokyo. And Ed, we have Naoto Kan, apparently the front runner right now. Does it matter to you who really becomes the next prime minister as an investor in the country?
Sure. Good morning, Susan. Thanks for having me back on the show. It matters to me, and frankly, it matters to the rest of the world who the Japanese prime minister is. This is still the second largest economy in the world, and it's very, very important that we have strong, effective leadership right now in Japan.
Okay.
And this is a great opportunity to change the situation that existed for the last 9 months.
The reason I brought that up is because we've had 4 prime ministers in 3 years. I mean, it just seems to be a merry-go-round right now. So, I mean, you don't have much political stability. I mean, how does that affect stocks?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, the sort of political merry-go-round of who gets to be the prime minister for the next 5 months has just got to stop. And I think that's one reason why you're seeing the 28-year-old son of a former prime minister. It's the last guy to hold the job for a number of years as a people's choice front runner. But the reality is, if you think that Naoto Kan is perhaps the next prime minister, he's been the finance minister. He's been a leader for a long time, and he's a much more decisive individual. I mean, what we've lacked here is decisive leadership over the last couple of years in the political space in Japan, and we need effective leadership. Now is the time.
But Ed, he has this image as the people's choice, but hasn't he turned into Gordon Brown? He's talking about fighting wasteful spending, raising consumption tax. Isn't this going to be a death blow to the domestic economy?
No, I don't think so. Our view at Rogers Investment Advisors, going back to August of 2009 and the DPJ election, is the people of Japan voted for change. They voted for a change in the way the system here works. That's incredibly important. First time since really, 1955 that someone had said, we don't like the way the LDP is running things and we want a new system. This is all part of the birth of a modern Japan, as far as I'm concerned. This is the election of the DPJ. It was a watershed event. It's the 3rd major event in the history of modern Japan. There's going to be change at this time. There's going to be, who's going to be the leader, settling on an effective leader. This takes time. It's not an overnight process.
It's not really changed, though, is it? Because the grassroots voters, they like Seiji Maehara. The DPJ grassroots, they don't get a vote on Friday. It's all of Ozawa's people. So they're just going to vote for Ozawa's choice, which is Naoto Kan. So Ozawa continues to control the party, same as he did with Hatoyama. Same old, isn't it?
It's absolutely Ozawa's role in the process is one that needs to be examined very closely. But I do believe that you look at, if it is Naoto Kan, you want effective, strong leadership that can create more effective change in Japan. We don't want leadership that gets caught up on issues that are distractions, quite frankly, to solving Japan's real problems. Having someone who is a finance minister, that's a very good background of understanding not just what's going on in Japan, but frankly, what's going on in the larger space of the entire world. And Japan is very relevant to this conversation. Again, it's the 5th largest economy in the world. A $5 trillion economy, there are going to be winners and there are going to be losers. From our point of view as an investor, we're happy with that. That's okay. Hedge fund managers can create value when there is change, and they can protect value when there's downward movement in markets. That's what our investors want. This is what we're going to see in the new political structure.
Hey, Ed, let me just talk to you about the market reaction yesterday. We had the yen tumbling, I think the most, in fact, in 3 weeks, and then the market went up and down after Hatoyama's resignation. What does that say to you about how investors are feeling right now about this angst amongst the political elite? Who's going to lead the country?
Sure. Change is always scary, right? The reality is, if you look at all the measurements, the pure metrics, Japan is very, very cheap as a market now. Cheaper than it's been in a long time. This sort of knee-jerk downtick that we've seen has mostly been forced by micro events. Greece is a problem. BP is a problem. These have been driving the situation in Japan, I think, a little bit more than, frankly, the political situation. The immediate response to Hatoyama's resignation was an uptick in the Japanese markets. No one here has liked the situation that developed politically over the last 9 months. I think everyone is excited at the opportunity for positive change, and that's what we have right now.
Okay, Ed, nice talking to you. Thanks for your time. Ed Rogers, CEO of Rogers Investment Advisors in Tokyo.